These five fruits, green kiwi fruit, berries, citrus, tart cherries, and pomegranate, don't add a single gram of protein to your diet, but they can change how well your body actually uses the protein you already eat. After 60, your body handles protein differently than it did when you were younger. Your stomach produces less acid, your muscles respond more slowly to the protein you feed them, and the low-grade inflammation that accumulates with age actively tears down the muscle you're trying to protect. ESPEN and the Prod Age Study Group, now recognized by the WHO as the clinical authority on sarcopenia, recommend at least 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every day for healthy older adults, rising to 1.5 grams for those dealing with illness. That recommendation matters. What most people miss, though, is that getting enough protein is only half the equation. Because how well your body digests, absorbs, and preserves that protein is the other half. Certain fruits fill that gap, not as protein substitutes because fruits contain almost no protein. Published research shows that specific fruits carry enzymes, vitamins, and plant compounds that help your protein work harder, reach your muscles faster, and stay there longer. Today, we are walking through the science behind each one, covering what has been tested in actual clinical trials, what is still emerging, and what the skeptics say. This channel does not deal in wishful thinking. We deal in evidence. We are starting with the fruits that contain something your digestive system needs more of as you get older. Section 1. The enzyme fruits: kiwi, pineapple, and papaya. Green kiwi fruit carries an enzyme called actinidin, pineapple carries bromelain, and papaya carries papain. All three belong to a class called cysteine proteases, which means they physically cut apart protein molecules at their peptide bonds. What separates them from your stomach's main protein-digesting enzyme, pepsin, is their operating range. Pepsin needs an extremely acidic environment around pH 1.5 to 2, and these three fruit enzymes function across a much wider pH range, from about 3 all the way up to 9.5. That distinction becomes relevant as you age, because stomach acid production declines over time. 12% of people in their 70s develop a condition called hypochlorhydria, meaning their stomachs no longer produce enough acid. One study measured how long elderly subjects took to reacidify to pH 3 after eating a meal, and the answer was 89 minutes, compared to 42 minutes for younger subjects. Over 16% of the elderly group never returned to pH 2 within 4 hours. When your stomach cannot reach the acidity pepsin requires, protein digestion stalls before it begins, which is exactly where these fruit enzymes step in, because they do not need that extreme acidity. Green kiwi fruit owns the strongest clinical evidence among the three. Paul Mugen and Robert Wolfe led a randomized, double-blinded crossover trial published in 2021 in the European Journal of Nutrition. 12 healthy older adults aged 60 to 85 ate 2 Hayward green kiwi fruit daily for 14 days and then consumed 100 grams of ground beef during a controlled metabolic study. Participants also completed the trial eating gold kiwi fruit, which lack actinidin. Blood levels of essential amino acids, branched-chain amino acids, and leucine rose significantly faster in the green kiwi fruit group compared to the gold kiwi fruit group. Protein reached the bloodstream at a measurably quicker rate, potentially enhancing the leucine trigger that activates the mTOR pathway for muscle protein synthesis. For optimal muscle building, seniors need 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal, containing at least 2.5 grams of leucine to reach this threshold. And this is where precision matters. Total amino acid absorption did not differ between the two groups. Green kiwi fruit did not help absorb more protein overall, it helped absorb it faster. True digestibility of beef protein already exceeds 90%, so there was little room for improvement in total absorption. For seniors who eat smaller meals, though, that faster amino acid appearance could matter because muscles have a limited window to capture those amino acids for repair. Laboratory research backs up what the clinical trial showed. Cower and colleagues published findings showing actinidin enhanced digestion of different milk proteins by 33 to 48%. Montoya and colleagues ran animal studies demonstrating a 43% reduction in gastric half-emptying time and a 3-fold increase in gluten digestion. Grozdanovich demonstrated in 2014 that actinidin retains its proteolytic activity even after simulated digestion. 40% of the soluble protein in green Hayward kiwi fruit consists of actinidin, while gold kiwi fruit varieties contain almost none, which means the variety you pick off the shelf genuinely matters. Pineapple offers bromelain, which operates across the same wide pH range and has documented oral bioavailability, meaning it can survive your digestive tract and enter your bloodstream with its protein digesting function intact. Friedrich and colleagues found in a study of 19 healthy men that orally administered bromelain was absorbed through the intestine with proteolytic function preserved in plasma, and up to 40% of it may be absorbed intact, which is unusual for any protein enzyme. 16 nursing home patients on tube feeding participated in the most relevant elderly study, which tested a bromelain-containing enzyme product and reported improved protein utilization. An ESPEN review noted, though, that the effects on total protein and albumin did not reach statistical significance. A practical limitation worth understanding is that bromelain concentrates in pineapple stems, not the sweet flesh you eat. Fresh pineapple delivers substantially less enzyme than supplements, so while eating pineapple with a protein meal will not hurt you, the enzyme content in the edible fruit falls below what clinical research has tested. Papaya rounds out the trio with papain, another cysteine protease with broad substrate specificity. Human clinical evidence for papain specifically improving protein digestion remains thin. 139 volunteers with gastrointestinal complaints participated in a study of a papaya preparation called caracol, and while they experienced significant symptom improvement, the study measured symptom relief rather than protein digestion directly. Like bromelain, papain concentrates in unripe papaya latex and skin, not in the ripe fruit most people eat. Balanced information matters, and skeptics have weighed in. Morgan Denhard, a registered dietitian at Johns Hopkins Medicine, put it this way: "There's no real evidence to suggest that enzyme-rich foods such as pineapples and avocados help your digestion." Brent Bauer, a physician at Mayo Clinic, framed the challenge differently. "The challenge from a physician's standpoint is that the evidence for each of those is pretty limited. We just don't have the data to say, no, it doesn't work. Yes, it does work. We're stuck." A review in Mayo Clinic proceedings found no evidence that exocrine pancreatic secretions decrease with age and described the evidence supporting over-the-counter enzyme supplementation in older patients as lacking. Where that leaves us is this: kiwifruit evidence in older adults is the strongest, backed by a well-designed human trial showing faster amino acid appearance. Bromelain and papain are mechanistically plausible but lack definitive human trials focused on protein digestion in seniors. One more thing to keep in mind: these enzymes are heat-sensitive, so canned pineapple, cooked papaya, and processed kiwi fruit have lost their enzymatic activity. Only fresh raw fruit retains the active enzymes. Section 2. Vitamin C fruits and the collagen connection. Protein does not just build muscle fibers. Protein builds collagen, the structural scaffolding that holds your muscles, tendons, ligaments, and bones together. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your body, and vitamin C is required to make it. Two enzymes called prolyl hydroxylase and lysyl hydroxylase need vitamin C as a cofactor, and without it, your body cannot form stable collagen. That is not optional, it is a biochemical requirement, and the clinical evidence behind this connection is extensive. Shaw and colleagues ran a crossover randomized controlled trial published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition and found that 15 grams of vitamin C-enriched gelatin consumed before exercise produced a 153% increase in the collagen synthesis marker PNP compared to 53.9% with placebo, nearly 3 times the collagen production from that single dietary change. The study that carries the most weight for this audience came from Lewis and colleagues in 2020, published in the Journal of Nutrition. Over 13,000 men and women aged 42 to 82 from the EPIC Norfolk cohort were examined, and both dietary vitamin C intake and plasma vitamin C levels showed a positive association with estimated skeletal muscle mass. Higher vitamin C status corresponded to more muscle. Animal studies cited in the same paper showed vitamin C deficiency activates specific enzymes called ubiquitin ligases, atrogen-1, and MURF1 that cause muscle wasting, and reintroducing vitamin C reversed that atrophy. DeFilippo and colleagues confirmed the pattern in a separate systematic review published in the Orthopedic Journal of Sports Medicine, examining 10 studies and finding that all 3 clinical studies evaluating vitamin C as a collagen synthesizer showed positive effects on tissue healing. Green kiwi fruit delivers roughly the full daily value of vitamin C in a single fruit. Citrus fruits, oranges, grapefruits, and lemons are obvious sources, and strawberries along with other berries contribute significant amounts as well. Eating these fruits alongside protein gives your body the raw material it needs to build and maintain the collagen structures supporting your muscles and joints. Section 3. Fruits that help your body use iron. This connection is less obvious, but it ties directly to how your muscles function. Iron sits at the core of hemoglobin in your blood and myoglobin in your muscles, carrying the oxygen those tissues need to work. Without adequate iron, your muscles cannot get enough oxygen, exercise capacity drops, and the fatigue many seniors experience gets worse. Vitamin C from fruits directly enhances absorption of non-heme iron, which is the form found in plant foods, eggs, and fortified products. Vitamin C converts ferric iron to ferrous iron and forms soluble chelates that stay bioavailable as food travels through your intestine. A 9-fold increase in iron absorption, from 0.8% to 7.1%, appeared in the classic dose-response study by Cook and Monson, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, when ascorbic acid doses rose from 25 to 1,000 milligrams with a meal containing non-heme iron. 26 studies pooled in a separate meta-analysis showed long-term vitamin C supplementation increased hemoglobin by 8.26 grams per liter. That said, an important counterpoint exists. Cook and Reddy found in a later study that across a complete varied diet over multiple days, vitamin C's effect on total iron absorption was not statistically significant. Single meal studies may overstate the practical benefit within a diverse overall diet. A 2020 randomized trial of 440 adults published in JAMA Network Open reached a similar conclusion, showing hemoglobin recovery was equivalent whether iron supplements were taken with or without vitamin C. The iron-boosting effect of vitamin C appears most meaningful for people eating meals particularly high in non-heme iron or for those already at risk of iron deficiency, a category that includes many seniors. Citric acid from citrus fruits adds another dimension. Baring and colleagues documented a 54% improvement in non-heme iron absorption in 42 healthy subjects when citric acid was included. Harvey and colleagues found calcium absorption ran 20 to 66% higher from calcium citrate compared to calcium carbonate. Organic acids in fruits do help your body access minerals that support muscle function, though direct evidence linking fruit organic acids to improved amino acid absorption has not been established. Section 4. Berries and the inflammation problem. This next mechanism may be the most consequential one we cover today, and it is not about helping protein get into your body. It is about stopping your body from tearing protein apart after it has already been built into muscle. Aging produces a state of chronic low-grade inflammation that researchers call inflammaging. That persistent inflammation activates a protein complex called NFKB, which switches on enzymes called E3 ubiquitin ligases, specifically atrogen 1 and MORF1. Those enzymes tag your muscle proteins for destruction through the ubiquitin proteasome pathway. Put simply, chronic inflammation programs your body to break down its own muscle, and this process is one of the primary drivers of sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength affecting millions of seniors. Berries directly counter that process. Niemann and colleagues published a 2023 randomized trial in Scientific Reports where 49 adults consumed 25 grams of freeze-dried blueberry powder, equivalent to about 1 cup of fresh blueberries and providing 280 milligrams of anthocyanins per day, for 18 days before eccentric exercise. Anti-inflammatory oxylipins and specialized pro-resolving mediator intermediates rose significantly in the blueberry group. These are molecules that actively resolve inflammation rather than suppressing it. Muscle soreness and damage markers did not significantly differ, though. The participants were younger adults rather than seniors, and the U.S. Highbush Blueberry Council funded the study. Strawberry data points in a similar direction. Basu and colleagues tested 50 grams per day of freeze-dried strawberry in 17 obese adults with knee osteoarthritis, average age 57, and published the results in Nutrients in 2017. 3 key inflammatory markers dropped significantly: IL-6, IL-1 beta, and MMP3. Tart cherry juice has received considerable attention in the fitness world for recovery, and for general inflammation in older adults, the evidence holds up. Chai and colleagues ran a 2019 randomized controlled trial in 37 adults aged 65 to 80 and found 12 weeks of tart cherry juice reduced C-reactive protein by 25%. A meta-analysis by Hill and colleagues covering 14 studies found moderate beneficial effects on strength recovery and muscular power across broader populations. And then there is the study that went the other direction. Jackman and colleagues published what may be the most rigorous test of tart cherry and muscle protein synthesis in 2018 in Experimental Gerontology, 16 healthy older men aged 60 to 75 received Montmorency cherry concentrate delivering 540 milligrams of anthocyanins daily for 2 weeks, combined with whey protein and resistance exercise. Actual muscle protein synthesis was measured using deuterated water and muscle biopsies. Tart cherry did not enhance muscle protein synthesis. Muscles did not build more protein. What the cherry concentrate did accomplish was decreasing NFKB protein expression with exercise by about 21%, while placebo produced a 17.8% increase. That distinction matters enormously. Tart cherry appears to reduce muscle protein breakdown through its anti-inflammatory effect, but it does not directly stimulate muscle building. Reducing breakdown and increasing construction are two separate processes. Tart cherry protects, it does not build. Section 5. Pomegranate, epicatechin, and the frontier. Two more fruit-derived compounds deserve attention, and they represent the frontier of this research: epicatechin and urolithin A. Epicatechin, found in berries, cocoa, and green tea, has shown the most direct muscle-building effects among fruit polyphenols. Gutierrez-Salmean and colleagues published a 2014 study in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry using very old mice, 26 months old, which corresponds roughly to elderly humans. Epicatechin decreased myostatin by 21% and increased follistatin by 56%. Myostatin limits muscle growth, follistatin blocks myostatin, and epicatechin shifted that balance toward muscle preservation. A small human pilot within the same study, 6 middle-aged subjects showed increased hand grip strength and an improved follistatin to myostatin ratio after just 7 days. Maffei and colleagues published the trial that matters most for seniors, a double-blind randomized controlled trial in 2019 in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity. 62 sarcopenic men with an average age of about 69 were randomized to 4 groups: resistance training alone, epicatechin supplementation alone, resistance training plus epicatechin or placebo for 8 weeks. Resistance training combined with epicatechin produced the greatest improvements in follistatin levels, follistatin to myostatin ratio, and strength on both leg press and chest press. Every experimental group improved over placebo. That trial stands as the most directly relevant human test of a fruit-derived polyphenol for muscle outcomes in sarcopenic elderly individuals. Pomegranate operates through an entirely different pathway. As the richest dietary source of compounds called L-argitannins, pomegranate provides the raw material that your gut bacteria can convert into a molecule called urolithin A. Urolithin A activates mitophagy, the recycling of damaged mitochondria, which are the energy factories in your cells. Johann Auwerks at EPFL in Switzerland led the foundational research, published in Nature Medicine in 2016, demonstrating urolithin A extended lifespan in C. elegans worms and improved exercise capacity in aged rodents. JAMA Network Open published the human trial most relevant to seniors in 2022. Adults aged 65 to 90 received 1,000 milligrams of urolithin A daily or placebo for 4 months. The primary endpoint, 6-minute walk distance, was not significantly improved, and that is worth acknowledging openly. Secondary outcomes, though, told a different story. Leg muscle fatigue resistance improved by approximately 17%. C-reactive protein decreased, and plasma markers indicated improved mitochondrial efficiency. Singh and colleagues found in a separate trial published in Cell Reports Medicine that 500 to 1,000 milligrams of urolithin a daily produced improvements in muscle strength. 3 caveats apply to pomegranate. Most urolithin A trials include employees of Amazentis, the company that sells a patented urolithin A supplement, as co-authors, and that conflict of interest deserves attention. A 2024 systematic review concluded the available evidence was insufficient to determine whether urolithin A has meaningful geroprotective activity, and only about 40% of people efficiently convert pomegranate L-argitannins to urolithin A because the conversion depends entirely on individual gut microbiome composition. Pomegranate is promising, but it is not a guaranteed pathway for everyone. Conclusion: everything comes back to where we started. These fruits do not replace protein. Nothing replaces protein when you are over 60 and your body is fighting to maintain the muscle that keeps you independent, keeps you mobile, and keeps you out of the hospital. What the research shows is that the protein story does not end at your plate. Green kiwi fruit can speed up how quickly amino acids reach your bloodstream and trigger the mTOR pathway more efficiently. Vitamin C from citrus, kiwi, and berries is a non-negotiable requirement for collagen synthesis, the structural protein holding your muscles together. Berries and tart cherries reduce chronic inflammation. 39 clinical trials pooled together in that 2025 meta-analysis delivered the clearest evidence we have. When older adults combine antioxidant-rich foods with exercise, they achieve better muscle outcomes. That is data from over 1,700 participants, not speculation. Only about 12% of American adults meet the recommended 1.5 to 2 cups of fruit per day. Eat enough protein, at least 1 gram per kilogram of body weight per day. Do your resistance exercises. Pair those meals with fresh fruits, particularly green kiwi fruit, berries, citrus, and tart cherries. Each one supports a different piece of the puzzle. Because in the end, it is not just about how much protein you eat, it is about how much of that protein your body actually gets to use. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I will see you in the next one.